open wide. He goes, ah, because she's crushed him so much. And she starts going inside of him. She's inside of Terry, Chad. She starts pumping herself inside of it. I'm like, oh my God. I don't know what she's going to explode out of him, Chad. I mean, Terry is pregnant with ink. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I also wanted to let you know that not only do I create content here on Class in the Glass, but I also stream content on my Twitch channel, Mr. Revan7. I play single-player games, multiplayer games, and I also do movie reviews and cartoon reviews as well. I also want to encourage you to check out my Patreon, Class in the Glass, where I offer audio commentaries, full reactions for movies, and also the ability to submit questions for my video casts and podcasts. In the meantime, thank you for watching and enjoy the video. But chat, now you must get to my scene by scene breakdown, chat, for Batman Beyond Episode 3. Chat, I know I was supposed to review Courage, but this show, I forgot just how goddamn good it was. And it makes, it grinds my gears, chat. I mean, now it's recognized as a wonderful show. Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond that world is a great addition to the DC in general, chat. No question about it. But it really grinds my gears how the show really didn't get a fair shake initially from people, because everyone was so upset that they were doing a kiddie version of Batman, which I'm like, this is anything but fucking kiddie. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. Like, the stuff that the callbacks they do through in this episode alone, in the series in general, the darker storytelling, it's significantly darker than anything. And I mean, like, the DCAU gets some dark shit, no question. But Batman Beyond, that's the darkest it ever got. It's darker than anything Justice League, Superman, or Batman animated series, a Static Shock. I was like, it's really impressive storytelling, the aesthetic, and just this weird dystopian future that they created. It's very inspired, and it bothers me that initially people were really hating on it because it was just something new. I mean, I'm glad it's should have gone for others more seasons though, Chad. It ends weirdly, sadly. And like, yeah, I think it got like what, 59 episodes or 60. I mean, it deserved many more in my opinion, chat. But we open up, chat, in dystopian Neo Gotham, chat. And we're following this one truck heading to this massive complex in the middle of the in the city, chat. Heading to Foxteca, chat. Fox? Is that Lucius Fox's company, chat? I thought they were always with Wayne Enterprises. Oh, don't worry, chat. That's explained. And the departure of the Foxes from Wayne Enterprises during after Bruce's tenure as leader of the company was over. All shall be told. All shall be told. Ooh, don't show me 5 minutes. I think the premise of a Teen Batman put people off of without seeing it. Yes. I think they heard Teenage Batman and go, ugh. I think that's exactly. Sounds horrible on paper, but was much better in practice. Significantly. But it's a good point. Good point. Hearing Teenage Batman, it's just like, well, he's going to be like an edgelord and everything. So, fair enough. Chap. Blue regard, Batman animated series canon, well, awesome beyond comprehension, makes me really depressed because in the grand scheme, there's no happy ending. True. The people you grew to love are either dead, missing, or currently suffering a cruel twist. Blue regard, I talked about this during my previous review last night and then my review on Friday, and I agree. It really, like, in hindsight, you realize what happened to the Bat family and to a lot of heroes, and it is sad. You know, it's very melancholy, and I also like that. Like, that was very brave of them to do, like in a cartoon, especially like an animated show. But that's what set Batman the animated series apart from so many other, especially superhero programs at the time, Chad. Like, before Batman, like, what did you have? Like, that was the start of a golden age, a revolution, chat, in cartoons throughout the 90s that carried on for decades. You know, without Batman, we wouldn't have a lot of these amazing shows that we can look on and have currently, but also look back fondly of. Like, before Batman, we had the Super Friends chat, which I'm sorry is trash. Even I'd watched a great documentary, chat, in Batman. It was about the creation of the Batman animated series and how a lot of those original writers, like Paul Dini and some other people, Chad, who worked on Batman the animated series, they also worked on Super Friends. Not Superman. Superman was great, but Super Friends, Chad, and they said that show was fucking trash and they hated it. It was like they did like a revival. They did like a brief revival in the 80s of the series, and they said this sucks. I don't want to be here. I like these heroes. There's cool stories, but we're not allowed to adapt them. We can't do the mature story. And they eventually got that opportunity, chat, with Batman animated series. But so that was a huge, a big impact. And it was brave of them to say, it's like, not everything ends up being happy. Maybe it certainly prevented from even worse, you can say. Some of the stuff that we see throughout the series could have been a lot worse. But no, you're right. It's very melancholy. But anyway, chat, it opens up. We're following this truck. It's heading to this giant, massive complex, chat. These huge fucking, Leviathan-sized skyscrapers with Fox-Tekka feature prominently, chat, in big red letter text. Is that Lucius Fox's company or his son's company or his family's company? Oh, we shall soon find out. And this truck passes through this giant laser barrier, chat. They do a scan of the guy. He's good. They do a scan of the truck. Completely fine. We see the leader of all these security guards here at Fox-Tekka. Apparently, they have increased security because they've had some saboteur attacks, chat. We've had some corporate espionage and warfare. Corporate espionage in Gotham, chat. I mean, it's typical nowadays in Neo Gotham and in Neo Metropolis and in Neo Coast City, but especially in Gotham, things have gotten a little bad right now. And they don't know, they can't explain it, but they've upped security. And the guy, he's doing a patrol. He's looking around. He's like, I think we got this on lockdown, boys. But let's be sure to keep up our regular timed patrols, and let's make sure we can get all this stuff shipped over. We have a big delivery, and the Fox family is counting on us. And then, chat, we see behind him, we see his shadow on the wall, except it's not his shadow. And I love this because Ink is a really cool villain that doesn't get enough love. I think because, even though she's in the comics now, she's in the Batman Beyond comics and things, she got her own backstory. And she's a recurring villain throughout the animated series. She's just very underappreciated in my opinion. Like, not a lot of people mention her, I think. And like how she makes her debut, just in terms of how she moves around. And the animation for her is great, chat, because she's literally made of ink. She kind of has this kind of rubbery plastic man-esque powers, almost like Hydro Man in a way, Chad. I mean, she becomes like a liquid. And they use that to great and horrifying fucking effect throughout this series, Chad. She does some messed up stuff. Like, I would not want to fucking cross her, Chad. But she pretends to be this guy's shadow, and she realizes, oh, she's the one that's been the saboteur, Chad. She's the one that's been attacking all these Fox-Tekka sites, Chad. Dismantling their projects and making sure that their stuff, isn't created. And so she infiltrates the shed. She's hopping from shadow to shadow. She's literally like moving in the cracks of the floor, and it's undetectable to everybody's eyes because you just don't expect it. Or Venom, true. Edmund, true. Just like the symbiote, very true. But I just love how they animate her going. It must have been hard to do this. Her bouncing from place to place, not even bouncing, but just going in every different direction, chap. It's just, working with that kind of liquid and make it look so good. It really holds up. This series, this episode came out, I think, in 1999. It's 21 years old, and it looks amazing. She's hopping from one place to the other, and eventually she gets to this this main command center, chat. She leaks through, destabilizes everything, starts blowing everything up. People are going, ah! People die in the show. I think probably more, other than maybe Justice League. A lot of people die in Justice League, chat, but I think Batman Beyond has a higher body count because you see these guys running from explosions is like, oh, you didn't get away. They did not get away. And people just start fucking dying. The thing is, though, chat, thankfully at Fox-Tekka, they do care about their employees. So they're like, get going. Go with the emergency exits. There's a lot of emergency exits here, chat. And they have to get all the trucks out of there, too, because they have very volatile substances on them, chat. So if these things go in this area, then it could take out a fucking city block, chat, Neo Gotham, where thousands of people live. Because that city has such an increased population years later. Thank you, Darkseid, for 5 days. Michael Bay would be proud of this explosion. You would be very proud. A lot of explosions. A lot of people being taken out. Oh, yes, very true. Thank you for the 5 days. So they're fucking all these trucks with all these volatile substances. They escape, Chad. They're getting them out of there. Some people even sacrifice their lives. Some people won't die. It's like, Jesus Christ, this is harrowing. And they do, chat. They get the trucks out of there. But fucking Ink is hitched a ride along the way. And then she fucking scampers off. And then, chat, we fucking cut. And we see Bruce Wayne traveling up this elevator, chat. It's like this small circular little elevator, chat. And we see these lights cross his face like, boo, Ooh. Ooh. And he has the sternest, most dead-eyed, 1,000-yard stare expression on his face, just looking like this, because he knows what he has to do. It's going to be pretty hard. He hasn't done this in quite some time. He has to get involved again with Wayne Enterprises. And it comes up, chat, and who does he confront? He's in the middle of Derek Powers' office. And Derek Powers, because for those of you who don't know, the last time we saw Derek Powers, he was screaming, chat, because he was imbued with intense amounts of radiation and a very deadly nerve toxin, chat, that left him with a bit of an afterglow, one might say. But now he seemingly appears normal, chat, and he's just so happy to see Bruce Wayne. Oh, Bruce, it's so good to see. You know, I didn't expect you. And Bruce is like, yeah, I didn't want you to expect me. And it throws Derek Powers off. So Derek Powers is always trying to put on this fucking facade when he's around Bruce and stuff. And he's just like, God damn this old man. Because now Derek Powers pretty much has been running Wayne Powers Enterprise. They had a merger about 20 years ago. And that's when Bruce was like, forget this. That's when he retired as Batman. He's pretty much let Derek Powers do whatever he wanted. And Bruce is there because he's heard a lot about these supposed attacks against Fox Tekra, chat. And he even notices, like, fucking Derek Powers is a little sloppy, chat, because he sees a file open and it has this fucking report on Fox Tekra and all their accidents. And Bruce is like, And he sees that Derek Powers is like, oh, you know, I'm so sorry to hear what's happening at Fox Tekra right now. I mean, all those people that died, it hurts me to think about. And Bruce is like, sure. And he's like looking around, Chad. He's like, he sees like all these like, weird modern looking statues. And Bruce goes up to touch one. And Derek Powers is like, I would appreciate if you don't touch that. And Bruce is like, oh, my apologies. Takes up this napkin, chat. And he gets a little bit. He gets like a little bit of the statue, and he looks like he dabs his brow. And I just wanted to let you know that, Fox Tekra, even though they are a competitor, the Fox family have been friends of mine for a very long time, and I want to know if you happen to know anything about them or what they're going through, that you'll bring it to my attention. And he goes, Bruce, of course. Lucius Jr., I mean, he was, well, by the time you retired, he was still serving as vice president on the board. And this is when they're going back to the elevator, and Derek Powers has his arm around Bruce, guiding him back to the elevator, like, all right, get the fuck out of here, old man. And as they're going down the elevator, Bruce goes, I know. Now I remember. You fired him. He goes, oh, well, got to bring in the new guard after all, right? So we learned, Chad, Derek Powers is the one that fired, not Lucius Fox. Lucius Fox apparently already retired from Wayne Enterprises, probably already was dead at that point. But his son was serving as vice president of Wayne Enterprises, Chad. And when Bruce left, Derek Powers promptly fired him, and Lucius Jr. and his family started Fox Tekra, Chat, a competitive company. But Bruce, he was always still remained very good friends with, obviously, the family and cared about him. And Lucius always was a big supporter of Bruce and Batman. So it's interesting. I love that they're doing all these callbacks, Chat, and like showing just the history. It's still all there. I'm just like, oh my God, I forgot about all this in the show. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And the elevator goes down to the floor, Chat. And who gets up to go to Bruce, Chat? Fucking Terry McGinnis. In previous episode, Chat, Derek Powers was trying to assassinate Terry out in public about it, like shooting at him and shit. And he says, oh, Mr. McGinnis, what are you doing here? It's like, I'm here to help Mr. Wayne. I'm working for him now. He's like, oh, yes, of course. It makes such obvious sense, with your father not being around anymore. And he's just like, Terry. And Terry's just like, ooh, you motherfucker. And Bruce is like, we should get going. And he's like, oh, goodbye, Bruce. Please, stop around anytime. I'm sure we can get an office for you ready, but, not mine, of course. Just always trying to fucking just twist the knife in his back, like always like backhanded compliments and shit. And Terry's just like, so how'd it go? Did you hit him? And he goes, not exactly. But he's like, I just wanted to get some information, letting him know that he's not in total control now, that I have many friends here. That's what he even says to Derek Powers at one point. He's like, listen, even though I don't have a lot of power in the board anymore, I got a lot of friends still. And I'm like, who's he referring to, Chad? Is that in the business world? Is that in the superhero world? It's like, what's that threat mean? I like that, Chat. And it's like, I got very powerful friends who just want to make sure that things in Gotham are safe right now. It's very cool dialogue. No, it's true. Metropolis is no safer. We touch on that episode later on with Superman. Very dark what happens to Superman, actually, Chat. But so Terry's like, well, like, listen, what do you need to do? It's like, well, Bruce is like, I got to run some tests tonight. And so Terry's like, do I have the night off? And Bruce is like, we'll see. But Terry's like, listen, trying to maintain this balance in his life, Chad. Yes, he is the new Batman. He is the Batman Beyond, the Batman of the future, if you will. But he still wants to maintain some semblance of a social life, a normal life, Chat. And he goes with his girlfriend, Dana, Chat. Go see one of them. I don't even know how to describe it, Chat. It's like a sports ball game. It's a sports ball game of the future, Chat, where it deals with like levitation. There's no gravity. It's like a combination of lacrosse and hockey and football. It's just fucking weird. Nelson's there too, just being a jerk. And, but Dana, she's like, I'm really happy to, have you out here, Tara. I know Mr. Wayne is keeping you really busy. He's just like, no, it's been good, earning some extra money. She's like, no, I did. I totally understand me with, the thing that happened, referring to his father. And he goes, yeah, exactly. It just helps my mom. She's like, I totally understand. But then he gets a little ring-a-ding-ding, and he's like, hello? Oh, Mr. Wayne, actually, but I'll be right there. And Dana's like, really, Terry, you're leaving? But she's not aggressive about it, Chad. She's like, so you got to get going now? And he goes, he needs me. He needs me. And she's like, that's kind of odd, don't you think? And he goes, you have no idea. And then he goes back to the fucking Batcave, Chad. He fucking suits up and he's blasting off. He's blasting off. As they're going to be checking all these Fox tech recites because Bruce has a fucking funny feeling about what might be going on. And so Terry, he takes the goddamn Batmobile out, chat. We see the debut of the new Batmobile, chat. It looks fucking slick as hell. It's like black and red and flying all around, chat. And Terry, he's fucking joyriding. He loves it. He's like, this is so fucking awesome. And Bruce is like, it's not a toy. And he's like, I know, but didn't you have fun driving the Batmobile back in the day? No. It's like, yeah, you did, Bruce, you liar. But he goes out there. And he's like, and Bruce is like, do you see anything that's going on? And we cut you, and we see fucking ink just messing and blowing everything up in there. He's like, looks like a goddamn firework display going on in there. And he's like, you should go in there right now. And so Terry, he goes right in there, Chip, blast in there. Thank you, for the 5 days. I love the Batman. It's such cool. Yeah, super cool, super slick. Oh, come on. He let Tim drive the damn thing when he was 13. I know. Well, Bruce is more crotchety than ever now in his old age. He's very, very bitter. Well, I almost let Terry die in the previous episode. I was like, fuck it. But he's like, damn it, you pulled on my heartstrings, kids. But he dives in there. He sees all this, but looks like there's no one there. And so Terry's looking around and shit, and we cut above him, Chad, and Ink's just like, just up there watching, Chad, just watching him going, yeah. And it's just, you know what? I missed the scene earlier, Chad, my mistake. So after Bruce and Terry leave, the Wayne Enterprises, we go back to Derek Powers, chat, and he's in his office, and the statue that Bruce was about to touch is ink. It transforms. He goes, well, that was a little weird. And Derek Powers is like, oh, don't worry about it. He just wants to make me think that he's still in control. He's not. I'll be sure to send him an even bigger basket of oranges for Christmas this year. And she's like, do you got another job for me? And he goes, of course I do. So he's hired Ink, chat, to sabotage Fox Tech. To Fox Techer, I should say. Forgot to mention that, chat. But then we cut back and just on the wall looking at him, just being fucking creepy. Thank you, Darkslayer, for the 5 days. Watching like a Geth. Yeah, very similar to Darkslayer. Actually, exactly right. Just looking at him like, yeah, like all that shit. And Terry's none the wiser. And she just fucking just jumps down. She's like, oh! And Terry just fucking screams. It's not like, oh, he's like, I'm a badass. I can fight jokers. I can meet up all these guys in tech suits. But he just goes, oh! This fucking thing. Lady just jumps on him and goes, and trying to just beats the shit out of him. Just beats the shit out of him. And Bruce is like, Terry. But Ink, he fucking manages to, he has like electrified battle range, chat. And she goes, and she just gets the fuck out of there. She just launches herself off of him, and she goes down the side of the building, chat. He's like, he screams a lot in the show. He really does. I'm sorry, chat, but I would scream too. If this fucking thing just filming and just went, just like, I would definitely scream. We would all scream, chat. He's not Bruce, and that's why I like him. Um, but then we cut immediately back to the Batcave, and Terry's like, oh, you could have fucking warned me if something like that was in there. And Bruce is like, listen, kid, you got to think on your feet. And he's like, listen, Mr. Wayne, all right, I'm not used to doing this, fighting supervillains and monsters and things. And we cut around the Batcave chat, and this episode is a smorgasbord of references and Easter eggs. Chat. We see the Harley Quinn costume, we see the Penguin's costume, we see the Riddler costume, we see Two-Face as Giant Penny again, the dinosaur, we see Joker memorabilia, we see the Mr. Freeze outfit and Freeze gun display. Probably that'll come into play later on, chat. And Terry's looking at all this shit, and Bruce he looks up and he looks at all the stuff he has. He's like, you'll get used to it. I just love it. It's a lot of throwbacks, but it all works natural because it's just so rewarding. It's perfect for the story because Bruce has been immersed in this world for, God, how long at this point? More than 40 years, like probably close to 50, because I think he's 75 at this timeline in the show. So probably 50 years at the very least, maybe even 55 years. Because I think when is he Batman in his late 20s? So or mid 20s. So this is all he's ever known, really. And Terry's just like, I don't fucking know all this stuff. And Bruce is like, I'm all about it, man. And he's like, well, okay, well, what have you been doing? And he's like, I analyzed this substance that I found at Derek Powers' thing. I'm speculating that he might be behind all these things. Bruce is still the brain, chat. Terry's smart. He is. He proves it in the previous episode and even here. But he's very smart. And he analyzed it, and it's an ink-like substance. And he's like, this might be connected to one particular criminal. And they look it up, and it's this woman, and she has I forgot her real name, chat. Bruce explains she was somehow a part of a biological experiment, and she's evaded capture ever since. They actually do a backstory for her in the comics, and it's pretty fucking dark. Also connected with her daughter. The daughter episode of Ink is awesome. All the Ink episodes are great. She's one of Terry's best villains. So I always like it when she comes in, chat, because all of her episodes might be in my top 10 Batman Beyond episodes of all time. So I can't wait to do each and every single one. This one's a great one. And they get even better, matter of fact. And he goes the whole backstory and everything, briefly over it. And she's an expert in corporate sabotage. And he's like, I was looking at what one of the projects Fox Tekra is working on, and they're building apparently a new space station for the United States government. But they're in competition with Wayne Powers Enterprises. And so Derek Powers, he wants to be able to build that satellite, and he wants to cut fucking Fox Tekra's legs out from under them and make sure that they're not able to build it. And so the government will then go to Wayne Powers Enterprises instead. And so it's funny, like Bruce is like, I don't give a fuck. I don't need any more money. So yeah, no, I want Fox Tekra. I want the Foxes to make sure that they're doing okay and their employees are fucking safe. So they have to stop Ink. And so at this point, you got to just keep patrolling all these different Fox Tekra spots, and we got to stop her. We got to fucking stop her. And he sends Terry to another spot. And it again, another where he manages, thankfully, he stops Ink, chat, because he gets there just in time, just before she's about to destroy shit. And they engage in one of the apps. Forever Storm, welcome to stream. Just saw you right there. Hope you're doing very well. Currently in the middle of my Batman Beyond Episode 3 review. And we get a wonderful fight sequence in this, chat, where she's throwing everything she has at Terry, and he's throwing everything that he has at her. Going back and forth, she becomes this giant ink monster that's like just like she has all these like pincer hands going at him, chat, like all these tentacles, just trying to get him, like, or just flatten him or stab him, chat. Like Terry's trying to adapt his fighting style to her, but he's never fought someone like this. And so when he's trying to like crush her with a manhole cover, she just comes through and just engulfs him, trying to just constrict him to death, throws her off and everything. He throws the manhole cover at her, chat, and she just promptly grabs and goes, whoosh, whips it right back at him, chat. Boom, hits his goddamn head. If he didn't have the batsuit on, chat, he'd be dead. He'd be dead. And eventually, they go near like the docks of this one particular Fox Tekra site, and Terry sees that she's nervous. You can tell by her body language, like how she's moving. And I love this. It's so subtle. He's like, you don't like the water, do you? And all he does is, this is a Batman move. He fucking just takes his foot and splashes some water, and she goes, oh! She does not like water. She had found her weakness. He goes, mm-hmm. But she freaks out at this point. She's like, okay, he knows my weakness now. I gotta fucking kill him. Because when she gets hit by water, chat, she just basically starts dissolving. She's not able to maintain her form, chat, when a foreign substance like that. And so liquids in general, very easy weakness to deal with. And so he battles her, chat, but eventually it just kind of ends in a stalemate. And thankfully, Fox Tecker, the employees are all safe. They're all okay. There are no casualties, chat. The damage is not bad at all. And Derek Powers, he hears about this. He's like, fuck! So they're going to be able to get their contract and everything. And then even Ink's like, okay, listen, I got to talk to you about this guy. I don't know who the fuck this is. And Derek Powers, he gets mad. He gets so frustrated because he knows exactly what it is. It's Batman. This new Batman. And then his skin starts to shed. That just starts coming off. She's like, what's wrong with you? He's like, I have a skin condition. What of it? She's like, okay, what do you want me to do? I was like, I want you to go here. All right, but I just caused enough destruction, but I want you to stay there. And she's like, oh, all right. It's like, I want you to take out this new Batman. He's the priority now. She's like, listen, I think he's working for somebody. This is fascinating to me because she noticed him talking to someone during the fight, not talking to her, but someone else talking to Bruce in his ear. And she's like, I think I might know who. She doesn't say I might know who it is. I think it might be the Batman, the old, like the original Batman, or maybe someone who's connected with him. And Derek Powers like, well, take them both out, all right? Here's your fucking money. Do it. And she's like, got it. And so then she makes this little fucking, path of destruction chat. She just waits there, just like that. While Terry, he goes there to investigate, but the destruction's already done. Cops are already called there. Bruce is like, nothing you can do. Just come back. We'll see if we can catch her next time. And she attaches herself to the fucking Batmobile, Chad. And she like smooths herself out all over it, so she just perfectly doesn't even look like it's out of the ordinary. But as Terry's making his way back to the Batcave, he's saying there's a little drag on the Batmobile, and Bruce is like, I'm going to do a scan when you get in, so it feels heavier, Chad. It's not as fast as it usually is. And so he lands, Bruce does a scan, and blah, 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 just all this fucking, the alarms go off, and he says, it's heavier, there's something on it. And then she just comes off of it, Chad, and she's in the Batcave. Fucking awesome. Jen, welcome to the stream. Chris, when are you going to review the movie Juice? Someday. I got to add it to a poll. But she comes off the Batmobile. She's in the middle of the Batcave, and Bruce, he doesn't have a mask, and he's like, ah, shit. And so Terry instantly goes at her, Chad, just starts fighting her and everything. Except she's like, she's not playing around anymore. She is there solely to kill them. And we get a really fucked up scene where she wraps herself around him, crushing him, and she's like, open wide. He goes, ah, because she's crushed him so much, and she starts going inside of him. She's inside of Terry, Chad. She starts pumping herself inside of it. I'm like, oh my God. I don't know what she's going to explode out of him, Chad. I mean, Terry is pregnant with ink, so it's not going great, Chad. But then he's like just basically choking him probably to death. But then Chad, this big fucking burst of water just comes through and shoots right through, and she goes, yeah! And she's like, she lets go of Terry because it hurts her too. And then we see Bruce coming in with this giant fucking industrial fire hose, Chat. Great fucking cameo, by the way, or great little reference here. He's wearing the Gray Ghost headgear, Chat, the goggles and the hat to protect his identity. The one from the Beware the Gray Ghost episode, Chat, which I also reviewed on stream, and we'll eventually do a commentary for it, Chat. But the one that featured Adam West, which is Bruce's inspiration. As a child, like to pursue, started one of his many inspirations, Chat, to pursue a career as a crime fighter. But I was like, oh, it's so cool. And so he's wearing that. And then Terry falls down, just goes, ugh, and he just starts vomiting ink up, just like literally vomiting the person he was fighting up, Chat. And she's just going back to herself. And he's like, what fucking took you so long? He's just like, I was feeling shy. I didn't want to reveal his identity, Chat. And Ink's like, all right, fuck this. I'm going to find out who you guys are. And so she instantly just starts going up like the stairs of the Batcave, Chat. She's like, she's going to find the fucking manor. And he's like, don't worry. What? Crazy Brownie, thank you. If they gave a prize for being mean, the winner would be him. Thank you, Crazy Brownie, using that Prime subscription. That was very kind of you to do that on my channel. Thank you. Oh, human bodies mostly, I don't know, water. Yeah, well, she's pumping. Or she's not. I mean, yeah, you gotta go with it, I guess. But you know, she's fucking gonna explode out of it. I mean, water in terms of like how it, I don't know, mixes with her. I'm not sure. I'm gonna let it slide. But she's going up there, and Bruce is like, don't worry, I have countermeasures for that. Closes the door, and she's like, this isn't gonna fucking stop me. And she starts going through the cracks, chat. And Terry's like, what are you gonna do? He's like I said, I have countermeasures. And he presses the button, chat, electrifies the door. She goes, yeah! And she's blasted back, chat. Blasted back, lands in the middle of all the memorabilia and shit. And Terry's like, shway. But Ink's like, all right, I am absolutely fucking done. And she just transforms her arms into these giant, like, this flail, chat, and this scythe. And she just starts coming at Terry, chat, at this point. Like, you know, Bruce is like, ah, shit, this is not good. Just starts coming at him, chat. And she's, like, destroying all the memorabilia and shit. She's like, ah, just breaking all the things and everything. Like ruining some of this, like she destroys Harley Quinn's outfit. Not everything's destroyed. She also attempts to bring down the Batcave on top of him, Chad. She's like, I'm just gonna crush you guys to death. And tries to bring it down. But then she's like, I'm not playing around anymore. I'm just gonna kill you. And she's coming at him, chat. And she starts slicing, dicing things. She whacks him away. And then she starts going for Bruce at this point. He's an old man. He's just like, here we fucking go. But then, chat, all of a sudden, she's blasted by this giant ice beam. Love it. Terry, chat, has gotten a hold of Mr. Freeze's ice gun and freezes Ink, chat, until she shatters into these like millions of little ice cubes. And Terry's just like, okay, why am I not using this? I love it. I love it. That is apparently beneath 6 layers of concrete and in solid steel as well, they say. Also say that's like a foot of solid steel. And so it would be hard to get through there. And so at this point then, chat, we cut to the end of the episode, and we're at the GCPD, chat, and we're at the door of Commissioner Barbara Gordon, chat. And she's talking on the phone with somebody, Bruce Wayne. And she's like, I was wondering when I'd get this call, and he's just like, and your new protege, or like, the new person that you got working for you. And he goes, like you, Tim, and Dick, you all came to me first, okay? I never initially came to you. And she's like, all right, fair enough. And he's like, he's gonna be working with me for quite some time, and I hope that he can work with you as well. And she's like, times are different now, Bruce. Things have changed. And he's like, I know, and that's why we need Batman. And she's like, okay. And he's like, and just as an offering in good faith, he has a delivery for you. And she's like, what? And she goes outside the window, chat, and we see ice in this giant, or not ice, but we see ink in this giant container, chat, trying to get out of her little ice thing. She's like, fuck. And we see the Batmobile heading back to Wayne Manor, and she's just looking. And then, chat, we see Barbara Gordon's face, and she grimaces because she knows what this person's in for. It's happening all over again, chat. Probably all the memories of what happened with Tim and the Joker. It's all flooding back in this instant, chat. How they just didn't have her going, yay, and a smile. She just, oh God. Like, it's good. We're going to go through this all again. And it was an interesting thing to do. Again, it's a very melancholy series, chat. Very melancholy, but I just loved her expression of just like, oh, fuck, here we go. But there you go, chat. That was Batman Beyond Episode 3 Blackout, featuring the debut of Ink and Commissioner Barbara Gordon.